Hello, pedalboard people. Now, cables are something rather boring, and we hate spending the money because for a pedalboard, if you want high-end cables, which you should have, you're gonna spend hundreds. I mean, for the kind of boards that I built, a little bit bigger, maybe 10, 15 pedals, and then with the looper, you're talking 30 cables. It can get very expensive. A good idea to keep pedal boards clean are cables that you make yourself to the right length, which means you have to be able to solder, or however you say that in different countries. Löten in German, I know that one. Or you go to solderless cables, which usually have a cut it, stick it in, strip it up, different kind of ideas behind it. Problem with that is how many of those work, how long do they work, what's the quality. Now, I have experience with a few of them. This is the Planet Waves D'Addario kind. I made a lot of them for a huge board for a trade show. Rather big connectors, but they're angled and they're nice, a thicker cable. So this is not your tiny cable, but it works rather well. All you do is you cut it, you shove it in, twist it a bit, and then screw it in. Everything is included in the box. These do clock in like $60 for 5. So the thing is, yes, these cables usually are rather expensive. Moen sent me a whole bunch of them early on in my career. Very thin. This is based on the Lava cable or George L. I think more Lava looking at the plug. So this is the China version of the Lava cable. If you look at it, you stick it in straight and bend it over, put this on top, screw it in. I have quite a few of these, and usually they're pretty dependable, but sometimes I use one and it doesn't work anymore. They're thin and bendy, which is nice. But even though it's China, not super cheap, also over $50 or 69 or something for the Moen one. Now, the creme de la creme, one of the nicest cables on the market, is the Evidence Audio SIS. I don't even know what that stands for anymore. I know that Dan Steinhardt uses these on all the boards. They do hurt your fingers if you have to make a shit ton of them, and I made a shit ton of them. The way this works is, this thing is screwed in. Right now I couldn't even take it off. All these I scratched up quite a bit if you look at this. So this is quite scratched up because I had to use pliers to hold it and really twist it in here. And you have to strip the cables, which means you have to actually cut it again, strip one thing this far, the other thing this far, make sure that the white thing doesn't get cut. You can mess this up. Also, the cables are very not bendy. There are more. There's Lava, there's George L. Joyo has some now. Every Chinese company probably goes to whatever Chinese cable maker there is and just buys theirs with a different kind of head. I think Rockboard now also, or at least they were working on some. What I saw secretly was great. Really looked really good, really clever. Straight heads, bendy heads. I don't know if they're out yet. So I'm not gonna say more on that. But all these clock in at quite a bit of money. And then I was browsing through Thomann and saw this solder-free patch cable kit. Harley Benton. What, $17.90? Something like that. I mean, ridiculously cheap. Way below everyone else. Let's take a look at them. That was a long introduction to that. But if you want to know more on patch cables and qualities and differences and hum and tests on hitting them, I mean, ridiculous. Please watch Max Solo's patch cable test. I think he's working on a second one. The guy's nuts. He spent over a year getting patch cables from everyone. And then did many tests. The guy's videos are ridiculous. Please watch Max's. video on patch cables or power supplies because he goes scientific. I go, huh? Yeah, good. I actually have a cable tester now. I'm a little bit more prepared than usual. This is, by the way, something you want to get. I don't know how much this is, can't tell you, but it's phenomenal. It's the Hosa cable tester. It will test USB, Ethernet, speaker-on-speaker, normal speaker, BNC, RCA MIDI, 5-pin XLR, and it's just ridiculous. And right there you can see I'm on connection 1, which is bridged over to 3. I don't know. It's not tip ring sleeve. It's just tip sleeve, something like that. So then we have the 2, which is connected, and the other one is reversed, which makes sense. And that works beautifully. It shows the same thing for this. See, that's kind of Planet Waves. Perfect. I love having this. Needs a battery though. But now we have the Moen, which I tested earlier. And okay. 2 was flickering, meaning there was some kind of current going where it's not supposed to go. Ah, now 2 is dead. Oh, so earlier 2 was flickering. Now it's not working at all. Ah, here we go. What? I don't know what's going on. Maybe I was on the wrong. Earlier, it showed a mistake. So, I have not looked at these, which means I'm going to look at them with your eyes. I had I had cables from Carl's Cables, which Musik Produktiv makes. Very nice. Also, they buy this at a high-end cable manufacturer and the plugs in China somewhere. But really nice connectors and cables, but actually no real instructions. So I made 10 cables, and out of 10 cables didn't work. I met Carl, and he showed me how to do it because I was really pushing it in there. He's like, no, and it worked. But without the right instructions, you're pretty much shit out of luck. So, let's see what's in here. There's a screwdriver, which is neat. You can use it for other things. Like on the Planet Waves, there is a cable cutter. Click, click. Don't get your finger in there. This looks like a cable stripper, maybe. We all like a stripper. See, can I cut this? Haha, you can also cut the package with it. So this looks good because these are metal housing, angled, really small, gold connectors, and there's a little screw right there to fasten the cable. Here's the cable. There are no instructions. There's this, which doesn't really tell us anything. That means that's what's there. For the uninitiated, some instructions would have been nice. I will try. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, I'll shove this through here. Nope, definitely not. I'll make a cable about this long. Okay. Cutting it works. I'm going to suggest just using scissors. So now I have to strip it. Let's see, so that it fits in here. You take the screw out first. So you'll take the screw out far enough so that it doesn't show up in the hole anymore. And I guess we'll have to strip it about, I don't know how long. No idea. Zero idea. You go into the biggest hole. I'm sorry. I literally have no idea. Oh, wait. There are instructions. Just not in the package that I had. Why? There are instructions. Why did package 1 not have instructions? I shall read. Put it in the second hole of the cable cutter, which is not the biggest one, but the second. And then we don't have to strip it at all. I made a mistake. So second hole, we're gonna do that again. Now you're supposed to just do that. Okay, again, second hole. I'm usually not allowed in the second hole. If anyone got that, sorry about it. Had to. So I'm going to push this down a bit to make sure it's really cut. Or just use scissors. It's an option to just go. It said make sure it's cut nicely. Okay, we're going to cut this here. Yeah, just use scissors. How about that? And then it says just shove it in here. Don't have to strip anything. Put it in 10 millimeters. Usually I can put it in quite a bit more. Okay. And then tighten the screw. If that works, that's cool. We're going to do that for the other side. I can see the little pin in there. Okay, and now we have a very nice little cable. Now with the cable tester, we're gonna test it. No way. That's how easy that is? Wait. Wait. So I didn't really push very hard now, just shoved it in, screwed it in. That can't be how that's done. That's not, because one side doesn't have connection. So, gonna unscrew that. Gonna twist it a little bit more. Okay. Okay, other side. Maybe I didn't put the screw far enough in. Didn't put the screw in far enough. That was the problem. Make sure the screw is flush with the casing. And now, the cable works. Okay, that is easy as pie. They are inexpensive. They are bendy. Problem is how to test them for sound. The only way to test them is make a whole bunch of them, put a board together, play the board, see if it works, well, see how it sounds, then exchange out the cables for other ones, play the board, see what it sounds like. And welcome back. You didn't leave, but I did. It's the next day now. So I put together all the cables, 10 of them, which took me 15 minutes. Using the cable tester, 2 of them didn't work, which it clearly showed. Took it out, and both times, or no, one time it was that the screw wasn't in far enough. Easy fix. The other time, tightening the screw didn't do it, so I just cut a little bit more off the cable, did it again, and it worked. 2 out of 10 I had to redo. 1 time, done. Definitely, in my experience of making solderless cables, the easiest and quickest ever with the least amount of failed cables. So I put together this board, which is a ruach from Ireland. I don't know how to say that. R-U-A-C-H. Nice little wooden board. And we have 9 pedals on there, which means I'm going in with a mayonnaise cable right here, and from that patch bay to the first pedal Origin Effects compressor. And it's coming out of here. And apart from the fact, well, you have to know that these pedals are not fixed. I don't have Velcro on them, so the board is a little bit untidy. And all the power cables are actually coming from the side here, which means it's not the tidiest board. But even given that, look how freaking tidy it is. That is amazing, because these cables just are so damn small. I'm just going through this way, then under the board in here, and through there. So an overdrive, a boost overdrive, high gain distortion, octave craziness, weird delay, analog delay, reverb. And then from here, I'm going with another Harley Benton cable, into the AMPETE switcher into my setup. You can see how these pedals, which are side-mounted pedals, are actually super close together because these cables don't take up any space. This is as close as you will possibly get to pedals that are whether you mount the cable from the side. I have to say that this slit in the board is there right where the cable would be, or is, and I'm actually moving the cable straight down. So if you have a board where you can do that, just shove the cable in the hole and you're good. And see, I can actually get pedals really, really tight on this board. I'm powering the whole thing with a Strymon Zoomer, which can take care of 9 pedals at the same time. That's super high end, so if there's any noise, the Zoomer is probably not responsible. Yeah, so that's going into the, right there, the Sky King by Tone King, mic'd with an MTP 440 and also the aux right there. All we're listening for really is not the pedals. We want the pedals off technically, and we want to find out how good does it get the clean signal to the amp. And then we do the whole thing with the highest end cables that I have with the Evidence Audio and see if there's a difference in how much arrives in terms of volume, dynamic frequency response. Can we even hear this? I made sure that I didn't put a buffer in front of this. Because really, once you put a buffer in front of everything, cable quality goes a little bit down the drain because it's changing something about impedance, so I have actually no idea. There's Meon. Meon, I'm making your video. Shut up, I'm working on it. He sent me those cables. So, this is my brand new Mayonnaise Hydra Elite 6-string. Very nice and clear guitar. So yeah, what you're hearing is 10 Harley Benton Solderless Patch Cables through 9 pedals. And a Mayonnaise cable. And some other cables going in there, but those are all, you know, very high end. Oh, I was on single coil, but okay. Now if I turn on this compressor, the level goes up quite a bit. And you can hear some buzz in the single coil position, of course, but it's very, very quiet. They don't really pick up any noise. It's right next to a computer screen, right next to my phone. You know, nothing happening right here in terms of interference. There's a lot of technology moving around it. Nothing. So, we're gonna do the same thing, but I'll change the cables. So now we changed the board to Evidence Audio. We're talking, I think, $17.90 for the Harley Benton 5-pack and $89 for the Evidence Audio. We are on the complete opposite side of the price spectrum. Are we on the complete opposite side of the quality spectrum is a question. In terms of installing them on the board, I gotta say that the Harley Bentons are more fun. They are bendier, they're easier to tuck under the board. You can clearly see that obviously these pedals are not fastened with Velcro, but that the pedals are pushing, that the cables are pushing the pedals around, and you cannot get them quite as close as with the Harley Bentons. We're talking millimeters. These are very, very small cables. It's all good. We're gonna say Harley Benton has a 2% advantage there. Let's see if we can hear it. Let's hear if we can see it. What? Let's go single coil, put the compressor back on. Same kind. Now, subjectively, very subjectively, I could maybe tell myself that there's a tiny little bit more bass. But who knows, because it's been 10 minutes since I played the Harley Benton pedals. No idea. I'll put the sounds right next to each other and you can decide, because I don't think that any difference that I might imagine is real. So my 2 cents. I don't know why one of the packages didn't have the instructions in it. Might be that I bought a 2-pack and they already have the 2-pack. I'm not gonna make a hip-hop joke. And that they only have one instruction manual in there. I have no idea. This feels super high quality. Still has the old logo on it. Assembling them is quick. The cables are thin and bendy. And they did a good job on a rather good-sized board. 9 pedals is that above average? I'm gonna go with, that's average, on an average board. As soon as you put a buffer in it, if you have a huge board, put a buffer on it anyway, because you want a higher quality signal to come out at the end, which with both sets of cables, we used no buffer at all. $17.90. Now, to wire up this board, it would have been 19, 18, 38 bucks. Is that correct? I'm gonna go yes. No, 36 bucks. I don't do math. Whereas with Evidence Audio, you would have looked at 180 or 178. Quite the difference. Now with a bigger board, you're very quickly looking at 400 bucks with Evidence Audio and still under 100 with Harley Benton. Now that is an argument. Putting them together quite a bit faster. Evidence Audio are super high-end cables. They're great. But now there is a solderless alternative that so far I can't see a fault with. I haven't stage tested these. I haven't kicked them around. They haven't been on a tour bus. So I don't know. My experience up to this point, pretty damn good for the money. Hell yeah. Links below. Animals at the end. Patreon, something about... There's a woman over there doing something with the dog. Oh, putting the dog back on the couch because the dog has back problems and needs to be heaved around. Heaved around? That's not the word. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
I claim the light, but it's getting darker when there's no one left inside. this the end of hope? Is this the end of love? Is this the end of tears? Is this the end of skies? Has everyone moved out? Is there nothing left?